Those holes are where they scraped the letters off the USAID building back in February. That agency closed for good in July. And when it did, it scrambled U.S. aid efforts all over the world. But for one local couple, the consequences were far more personal.
This isn't how you treat U.S. diplomats.
Jared Bell spent years in Bosnia working in academia and then for the American government with the U.S. Agency for International Development. He'd planned to spend his career with the agency.
To be honest, it was a dream that from very young, I knew I wanted to work in international development.
While in Bosnia, he met and fell in love with Muammar Sadilian. The pair was married in an Austrian palace in the midst of COVID in 2021.
It was absolutely beautiful.
USAID sent Bell to Nicaragua next. His husband moved with him. Not an easy assignment for either of them.
We experienced surveillance, all of us, right? Our phones had been tapped, and he had been showing photographs of him leaving the house.
While in Nicaragua, Muammar started the process to become a U.S. citizen, filing paperwork in July 2024. The U.S. government offers an expedited process for spouses of people working overseas on behalf of the United States. It cuts years off the normal citizenship process. When you applied, was there any indication that this wouldn't happen?
Definitely not.
No, not at all.
Even the expedited process took months. The couple said they followed all the rules, requiring trips back and forth to the United States, and was almost at the finish line. Muammar's final interview was on June 17th. You could see the end.
Yeah.
We were at the end.
Then, 2 weeks later, July 1st, the Trump administration shut USAID down. But when the Trump administration called all those people home, ending their USAID assignments, it meant people in line for expedited citizenship were no longer eligible.
It was crushing.
Muammar's citizenship was not approved.
In the end, it was a no.
How can the world can we fulfill a requirement legally when the United States government has ended the agency in the foreign service I work for? How is it possible?
This is yet another example of things Congress didn't contemplate when crafting these laws. They didn't come up with the idea that we were going to do away with long-standing government agencies.
Certainly not. Certainly was not anything that would have been under consideration at the time. That agencies would be taken away.
Immigration attorney Sarah Pitney says there aren't many ways around that decision, even though the couple had paid thousands and waited months for approvals they were likely eligible for. What allowance does the government make for its own delays in the process?
Zero. None.
Sorry?
None. No, absolutely none. The government is never held accountable for its delays.
Jared and Muammar consulted their own attorney and got similar answers. Now back in Maryland, Jared is looking for work. Muammar, who still has his green card, must follow the process for anyone else new to this country and wait at least 18 more months before he can apply again.
Maybe there's no legal recourse, but this is what the promise you made, and you step back on that. And that's not right.
This whole journey is a really long one for any couple, especially them. It took 18 months for Muammar to get his green card before the year-long process of applying for expedited citizenship. And now, as we said, they're starting over. They did appeal this decision. They had a hearing in September, but it was denied again. The I-Team did reach out to the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service. A spokesperson there said they do not comment on individual cases and added that requirements for programs like expedited citizenship are set by Congress, not by USCIS, which doesn't have any authority to waive them.
Ted, at this point, can the couple get any other help outside of the attorneys they've hired?
They, according to the attorneys that we spoke to and their own attorneys, no, sort of waiting in line with everyone else for the normal citizenship process is about the only way they can do, which they likely qualify for, but it will take, again, at least another year and a half before they can start it.
All right, our Ted Oberg live for us tonight. Ted, thank you.
You bet.